Today I am going to be talking about autism and speech, specifically in children, because this particular comment that I got was about how I interact with Tessie. And the comment, which I have right here, and which I'll post right here, or here, came from Krista Ray, and it said, "Please don't speak to your child like she's a 6-month-old. Teach her how to speak and act properly, autism or not." So there's kind of two parts to this. First, there's the request of please don't speak to her like she's a 6-month-old when she's three years old, which I could have addressed in one way, but then there's the second half, which is teach her how to speak and act properly, autism or not, which is kind of a whole separate thing to unpack. Krista Ray. Now, I don't think people always realize that when they think about their comments and they come back and they delete them later, that I still get the email and I still get the comment. I can still see it. And that's what happened with this comment. And it's almost more annoying because it's like, I can't respond to it. When I got this, I really wanted to respond to it. I went to the video and I was like, I don't really baby talk with Tessie, so I'm not really sure what you're talking about. I don't really feel like I baby talk at all. So I was confused. And then I went back and watched the video and then I saw it and it was this.
And
Hey, you.
What's that? What you gonna do with it? Ooh. Can you say what happened? What happened? Yeah, good girl. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So, I want to talk about the main signs that we saw. I have gone through a ridiculous amount of parent trainings for my kids. Some of them I went through at a special autism lab at a local university, and it was this play-based therapy, and I loved it. The basis of the play-based therapy was imitation, and you would imitate the sounds that your child makes and then you would try to build on them. It was so amazing. The first time I went through it with Maggie, and then I got to do it again with Tessie. When I did it with Maggie, the first time I went through the imitation training and I started imitating the sounds that Maggie made, she literally came over and she grabbed my face and she stared at me and she kept hugging me over and over again. It was just one of the best moments. My eyes are watering thinking of it now, because it was connecting with her on just a level that apparently we had not connected on before. And after that, our play was so much more connected, and anytime we played, if I started imitating her, then she would start paying attention to me because she would see that I was doing what she was doing, and I guess that I was interested in what she was doing. It was really a way for us to start playing together. When Maggie was a toddler, communication was definitely really difficult for all of us. And so that imitation piece was so huge for us. And honestly, I don't want stuff like this. I'm using stuff so I don't use a swear word. Taking that away from anyone, because it's crap. It's total and complete crap. And imitation is a valid way to get kids who are on the spectrum, or really any kids, to communicate with you, but especially for kids who are on the spectrum. For a very long time, when Tessie was much older than 6 months, her receptive and expressive language still was in the 0 to 6 month range. Now, I'm really big on presuming competence, and I always make sure to speak about my children like they understand what I'm talking about, even if they might not. Even when Tessie might not totally get everything that we're saying around her, I still talk about her and talk to her like she does. But I also want to make sure when I'm talking to her, directly to her, that she gets what I'm saying. And when I'm directly interacting with her, I want her to be interested in what I'm doing. And if I'm speaking in boring, full adult sentences, she's going to lose interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use animation and I'm going to use imitation. And those are two very, very important tools in my toolbox. And I'm not going to be shamed by that, because those are proven methods that work for kids her age and older who have the difficulties that she has in communicating. That's where I'm going to start today. That's how I'm going to address the first half of that comment The second half of that comment, this is not the first time that I have seen that. This whole, if you just speak to your kid, if you just make them talk, if you just teach them to talk, they won't have a speech disability. They won't have a communication difficulty. They'll just speak like everybody else. I'm saying everybody else because that's the nicest thing, because usually the people who say this aren't being really nice. I've gotten some really awful comments over the years in this vein, and usually I delete them because usually they're pretty abusive. Sometimes they're from parents who are like, well, my kid wouldn't speak and so I made him speak because we weren't going to give him anything till they said the word. And so my kid grew up to speak and you could do it too if you really wanted to, if you weren't pampering that, you know. And it's just mind-boggling. If anyone out there really believes that a child who is older isn't speaking just because they're stubborn, then they're wrong. They're wrong. You know, everything I can think of to say more than that is just too colorful for this particular channel, and I'm trying to keep it somewhat family friendly. And yeah, I'm not going to abuse my kids to make something that couldn't happen through abuse happen. And I'm just, no. I feel bad for people who thought that through abuse they made their child talk when their child would have talked anyway, because if you're going to be verbal, you're probably going to be verbal. And if you're not going to be verbal, you're not going to be verbal. And yes, there are therapies in speech that help with that and that can improve that. But you see nonverbal people who've had years and years and years of speech and help and therapies, and it's not that their parents didn't do enough or didn't work hard enough. And anyone who says that is ridiculous. In that video that I showed, it showed me building on a word that is one of Tessie's favorite words. Tessie loves to say happened. Tessie has, I'd say, less than 20 words now, around 20 words. And they're an odd assortment of words because she does use pecs. And so she has like, I see is one thing she says. She'll walk around saying like, I see, I see, I see, I see. Another one is happened. Happened is one of her favorite words. She says it all the time. Happened, happened, happened. Or like when she's doing the puzzle, she says happy, 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 happy. Or if she's not getting her way, say someone has a toy. James is playing with a toy and Tessie walks in the room and she sees the toy he has and she thinks it's fun, even though it's like his toy and he has it and he's playing with it. She'll look over and she'll go, sad, sad, sad. And a lot of the times she uses that for like not getting her way. Tessie has less than 20 words, but she uses them extremely effectively. And one of the things that I do is when she does say a word, I repeat it back to her. So she says happened, and I'll say happened. What happened? What happened, Tessie? And try to build on her words. And that is something that we used with Maggie that was very effective. And that was part of these trainings that I went through with Maggie and again with Tessie. And now to touch on that last bit, please teach her to act properly. Well, I'm definitely doing my best to teach all of my kids to act properly. I am doing my best to teach them to be kind. I am doing my best to teach my children to treat others with respect. And I'm raising children who I hope will be the kind of person who will lend a helping hand and who won't put normal on a pedestal or put fitting in above everything else. And I'm kind of hoping that they aren't the kind of people who go around making snarky little internet comments to make themselves feel superior. Anyways, that is it for today. If you like this video, we'd love it if you'd give it a thumbs up. And if you're interested in all things autism, we'd love it if you'd hit subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.